Hello, 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 hello. Okay, I felt inspired to come and share an idea. I first started this just wanting to be on camera. Hi, just wanting to be on camera and have a conversation with you. And as I sat here with that first thought, with that first impulse, I was like, I had so many ideas of the things that I wanted to share with you. And then, okay, I don't know which one I should share first. So I just sat for a moment and contemplated. And one idea was prevalent. And that idea is the idea of a creative process. A creative process either in your business, either in your life, either as a project or as a business, either whatever it is. When we are wanting to create something in our lives, wanting to make a desire come true, which is what a creative process is, we're doing that a lot of the time trying to strategize all the steps, trying to make sense of how things should go based on what people say to us should be. And for most of us, that doesn't work. And that doesn't work because that is not how the creative process actually is. When people are sharing what has worked for them, they are sharing a process that has come through them that has different tools in it, but it's not your process. Some of the tools in that process may be helpful for you, but you're going to create your own process, your own way. A creative process in itself is not what people are sharing. People are sharing what they have experienced in looking back to what their process was. They're sharing the end result of looking back of what their creative process was. But when they were in the creative process, that creative process was being unfolded in the moment, step by step. And probably they got a tool from someone else, a tool here, a tool there, a tool everywhere. They got different tools and they started building that process that they created for themselves. So when we're listening to them, we're listening with that understanding that this is the creative process. This may be the creative process, but a lot of the time is actually 100% of the time that's not your process. Because creative process in itself, it is chaotic. It doesn't make sense until you look back to it. It's built moment by moment, and then we tell the story of how that process created this result. And you can see this very clearly when you are close to art, when you're creating a piece of art, when you're creating a song, for example. When you're creating a song, you are listening to the song, to the beat, to the bass of the song, or you're listening to the instrument or different instruments that you want to put in the song, or to a melody. You're listening to a piece of the song first. Let's say it's like a rap song. So you're like listening to the beat of the song, and then you want to put lyrics to it. And when you're listening to the beat, you may have the first part of the song come through, but you may also have the last part come through first. Not the first part of the song first, but the end of the song first. You may have the middle of the song come through first. The hook come through first. And then you keep repeating it and listening to it and singing that, and then another piece comes through. Another verse comes through. And then you put in these pieces together as they're coming through you on the beat. And this is one creative process. You may have the lyrics first. Maybe the lyrics come through you first, and then you are, reading the lyrics, and then you put a beat behind the lyrics, or the lyrics on top of a beat afterwards, which is another way of creating. So there is these different ways of creating. Hi, mommy. My mommy is on the live. There's these different ways of creating. When you are in a creative process, if you judge the creative process and you think it has to look a certain way, it's not going to go in the way that it's meant to. Because life is creating itself. If you're trying to think all your way through how this should look like, how this should be, it's not going to be as easy as just allowing yourself to be in the creative flow without judging it all the time, without making it wrong all the time. As long as you have some of your tools for whatever that creative process is, and those are the tools are the things that we need to learn when it comes to any creative process, a business creative process, musical creative process, painting creative process, a relational creative process, the tools that help with that result that we want to create with the business, with the relationship, with the song, with the painting. We need to learn the tools. But once we learn the tools, then we allow the creative process to unfold by itself. And we don't judge it. We trust it. And it can be hard sometimes if we have been conditioned by formal education to everything has to be structured and strategized, and you have to have a 5-year business plan. That's what happened when I went to business school. We had to have like this 5-year business plan that you still have to submit in some places if you want maybe like a grant, if I'm not mistaken. But that's not the truth of the creative process. The truth of the creative process is that it's chaotic at the beginning. That it doesn't totally make sense every step that you do, and then you organize as you do. And you use your tool, and then you organize, and then you use another tool, and you keep putting the pieces together until you have a great song to sing, a great creation. But that takes allowing yourself to be with it. And being with a creative process is not just using the tools, but also sitting with yourself in the silence when there is not something that's coming through. When there is a space, when there is an emotion, a frustration, and just being with yourself and caring for yourself in that moment. Or when there is a moment of celebration because the first part of the song was made. And then we take a break. Is the conditioning that gets in the way? Is it what we think we should? Not what is. Part of the creative process may be having a conversation that may be a healing conversation, sharing with someone else about what's being created, and maybe that person having an idea that is helpful for that creation that you're birthing. That's what powerful creation is. Being in the moment with it and trusting yourself with it and knowing your tools. We can't skip that part. It's important. We don't have tools. We can't build. We can't build if we don't have tools. And a creative process is a building process in any situation or any context that you want to insert this in: relationship, song, business, etc. Where are you right now? Are you allowing yourself for that process to unfold? Do you know your tools? One more thing that is part of the process is also allowing yourself to have that impulse and follow it of what tool you need to learn next. That is also part of the process. The recollection of the tools, of something that you didn't know before, and now you do, and you insert it in your creation. That's part of the process too. In whatever level you are, of whatever area you want, if you can have this very solid in you, creation is going to flow through you. If you can be here and you can allow what is in the present moment. That feels really good. I feel happy with that. I feel complete. I hope this was some service to you and it gives you what you needed to hear, because this is not for everybody. This is for you. For you. Yeah, I know, you, who I'm talking to, who is listening to this, is for you. It's not for everybody, but it's for you, because I am creating with you. Okay, I look forward to see you in the next video. Bye.